Hello YouTube, I'm Musikev, and welcome to Zelda Month. I've been uploading one video a day on either this channel or my other channel, and at this point, I've done all 10 top 10s on my Musikev Plays channel, and this is the second of two in-depth discussion series of the musical top 10s, being title songs in Zelda games. My second favorite title theme came from Wind Waker. As I mentioned when discussing the title composition for Phantom Hourglass, the composers were Koji Kondo, Hajime Wakai, Toru Minegishi, and Kenta Nagata. Kondo's involvement in this game was probably the first where he began to pass the torch, as the music featured some of his pieces, but were modified to represent the time that had passed between the game's stories. Wind Waker. The demo turned disappointment. Put your pitchforks down. I love the game. It just wasn't what anybody expected after seeing the realistic-looking Link vs. Ganondorf at E3. Nintendo shocked us with cel-shaded Link, which, I'll tell you, has aged amazingly. So is its music. The HD remake was not necessary. Appreciated, but not necessary. Seriously, what is the deal with doing HD remakes? I'm not rebuying them, except for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, but that's just because they were on mobile console, and I never actually had the second one, and they're 3 to 4 gens ahead of their original. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic again. No, I'm not sorry. I'm obviously killing time since these videos keep getting shorter and shorter as I get closer to the end of the month. Oh boy, I almost lost track of which game I was even talking about there for a second. The Wind Waker, though. Instrument choice aside, this was a lovely musical game. A baton, or Wind Waker, does not produce pitches, and the way it is conducted does not change the pitch played by the band in the background, or the orchestra in this case. It keeps a rhythm. Sorry, it bothers me. Each instrument used in the introduction plays an important part in the story, or at the very least is featured in a song in the rest of the soundtrack. I love how it sounds organic, as though a troupe of musicians could have improvised it. The harp introduces the song with subtle drums in the background, and then the flute jumps in with a lot of grace notes, or brief notes that are played before the main note, to ornament the melody. The flute is soon backed by a kazoo-sounding instrument, which is, I'm 99% sure, a leaf whistle, which later accompanies the violin when it takes over the melody. The reason for my certainty about the mystery instrument being a leaf whistle is because it is the singing voice of the Koroks, which are little trees, which have leaves. When they sing with Makar for the Deku Tree ceremony, that sound is used to represent it. I don't want to keep calling the leaf whistle an instrument any more than I would want to keep calling a tree stump a drum. Yes, it can be played to make the music, but I don't believe anything was done to the leaf aside from what is done to your embouchure, or shape of your lips. Don't get me wrong, it's an impressive skill. The leaf whistle blends the timbre of the flute well with the timbre of the violin, acting as a great in-between. I think this makes sense, as the wind sage Fado seems to be a reimagining of the flute boy, who now plays the violin. It did make me chuckle that Makar plays the violin like a bass, since he's so tiny. As for the other instruments, the harp obviously references Melody and Laruto, the Earth Sage. But seriously, I think the game got those two backwards. Medley is the bird. She should be the Wind Sage. And Makar, the plant, should be the Earth Sage. And why isn't there a Water Sage? Especially with the ocean being the most commanding part of the map. I'd settle for Fishman being the Water Sage. Just someone should be. On the other hand, it could be a translation thing. If they would have said an Earth Sage and a Sky Sage, I probably wouldn't have taken a second look. All gripes about naming conventions aside, the fun introduction lets you know exactly what to expect: humor, improvisation, and excitement. Be sure to like this video as well, since I like the validation. And make sure you subscribe so that I can see you all tomorrow as I continue the in-depth look at the top 10 title themes in Zelda games. If you've missed the list that I'm basing this on, or any other, the link to the playlist will be found below. I will see you all tomorrow.